Welcome back, and thank you for tuning into Cheating Tales Lab. We appreciate every single one of you. We'd love to know, what part of the world are you watching from right now? Let us know in the comments. Now, let's dive into today's story. Chapter 1. The Perfect Facade. Wayne Arnold cracked eggs into the pan with practiced movements, his muscular forearms flexing beneath rolled-up sleeves. The sizzle of breakfast cooking filled the kitchen as he glanced at his wife, Stephanie, hunched over her phone at the granite island. "Coffee's ready," he said, his deep voice carrying across the space between them. Stephanie didn't look up. Oh, thanks." Her manicured fingers tapped rapidly against the screen. Wayne observed her reflection in the chrome refrigerator door. Her slightly tensed shoulders, the way she angled the phone away from his line of sight. He'd noticed these small details accumulating over the past months, filing each one away in his mind like ammunition. The bacon sizzled as he flipped it, grease popping against his bare skin. He didn't flinch. Pain was an old friend, one he'd learned to embrace during his years as a Black Ops operative. Those memories surfaced now. The weight of a rifle in his hands, the spray of blood across concrete walls, the satisfying thud of a knife finding its mark. "You're burning the bacon," Stephanie said, finally looking up from her phone. She'd applied her makeup perfectly, as always. The image of domestic bliss. Wayne transferred the bacon to a paper towel. "Just how you like it crispy." He slid a plate in front of her, noting how she quickly locked her phone screen. "I have yoga after work today," she said, picking at her food. "Don't wait up for dinner." "Yoga on Thursday? Thought your class was Tuesdays." They added a new session. Her voice remained steady, but her fork scraped against the plate with slightly more force. "You know how packed Angela's classes get." Wayne nodded, taking a bite of his eggs. He'd already verified with the yoga studio that they hadn't added any new sessions. Another lie, to add to his growing collection. The doorbell rang, interrupting the tense silence. Wayne checked his watch, 7:45 a.m. Too early for casual visitors. "I'll get it," he said, wiping his hands on a dish towel. Through the front window, he spotted their neighbor Jen Rasmussen's distinctive red hair. "Wayne." Jen's voice carried that artificial cheerfulness he'd come to associate with hidden agendas. "I hope I'm not interrupting breakfast?" "Not at all," he lied smoothly, stepping aside to let her in. "Coffee?" "Oh, no thanks. I just wanted to drop off these flyers for the neighborhood watch meeting." Jen's eyes darted past him toward the kitchen. "Is Stephanie home?" "Right here," Stephanie called out, her heels clicking against the floor as she joined them. "What's up, Jen?" Wayne watched the interaction between the two women, noting the subtle undercurrent of tension. Jen's smile didn't quite reach her eyes as she handed over the flyers. "We're discussing security concerns," Jen said, emphasis on the last two words. "There have been some interesting activities in the neighborhood lately." "What kind of activities?" Wayne asked, his tone casual despite the predatory focus in his mind. Jen shifted her weight, glancing between them. "Well, cars parked late at night. Visitors coming and going at odd hours." Her gaze lingered on Stephanie. "The Petersons mentioned seeing someone leave your house around 2 a.m. last week." Stephanie's laugh came too quickly. "Probably my sister. She's been having trouble with her husband. Stays over sometimes." "Funny," Jen said. "The Petersons said it was a man." The silence that followed felt thick enough to cut. Wayne maintained his neutral expression, but his mind was already calculating, analyzing, adding another piece to the puzzle. "Well, I should get going," Jen said finally. "Meeting's next Thursday at 7. Hope you both can make it." After she left, Stephanie grabbed her purse, avoiding Wayne's gaze. "I'm late for work." "Stephanie." His voice stopped her at the door. "Your sister's been in Europe for the past month." She paused, then shrugged. "Must have been someone else they saw. You know how nosy the Petersons are." The door closed behind her with a definitive click. Wayne stood in the foyer, listening to her car start and pull away. Only then did he allow his mask to slip, revealing the cold fury beneath. He headed to his study, pulling out his phone. A few taps brought up the tracking app he'd installed on Stephanie's car weeks ago. The red dot moved steadily along the route to her office, but he knew she wouldn't stay there all day. She never did on Thursdays. The morning light caught the wedding band on his finger as he reached for his laptop. He'd given her everything, his trust, his protection, a life far removed from his violent past, and she'd repaid him with betrayal. Wayne pulled up the surveillance footage from the tiny cameras he'd hidden throughout the house. He fast-forwarded through the previous week's recordings until he found what he was looking for. Stephanie sneaking downstairs at 1:47 a.m., speaking in hushed tones on her phone. "It has to be soon, Marcus," her recorded voice whispered. "I can't keep pretending anymore." Wayne's jaw clenched as he watched her pace the kitchen, unaware of being observed. He'd been a fool to think he could leave his old life behind, to believe in the possibility of a normal existence. But he hadn't forgotten his training, hadn't lost the killer instinct that had made him one of the most feared operatives in the field. A notification pinged on his phone. Stephanie's car had deviated from its route to work. Right on schedule. Wayne stood, rolling his shoulders to release the tension. He had errands to run before heading to his cover job at the office. Financial records to gather, surveillance equipment to check, weapons to maintain. They wanted to play games? Fine. But they'd soon learn that they'd chosen the wrong man to betray. Wayne Arnold hadn't earned his reputation in Black Ops by showing mercy to his enemies. And now, his wife and her lover had made themselves exactly that, enemies to be eliminated with extreme prejudice. At the office, Wayne maintained his facade of normalcy, nodding to colleagues as he passed their cubicles. His desktop computer displayed spreadsheets and reports, the mundane trappings of civilian life. But his mind worked on a different level, processing intelligence like the operative he'd never truly stopped being. "Hey, did you hear about Mike in accounting?" Tom from sales leaned against his cubicle wall, coffee mug in hand. Caught his wife cheating with their personal trainer. Messy divorce incoming. Wayne's fingers continued typing, his expression neutral. "That right? Yeah, man. You can't trust anyone these days." Tom lowered his voice. Apparently, she'd been lying about going to the gym for months. Makes you wonder how many other wives are pulling that kind of stuff. The keyboard clacked beneath Wayne's fingers as he pulled up a secure browser window. "People show their true colors eventually." "That's dark, man." Tom chuckled nervously. "You and Stephanie seem solid, though. How long you been married now?" 6 years. Wayne's mind flashed to the hotel receipt he'd discovered, the one with Marcus Noble's name next to his wife's. "Excuse me, I've got a meeting." Instead of heading to the conference rooms, Wayne took the elevator to the parking garage. He had 45 minutes before his actual meeting, enough time for a quick detour. The tracking app showed Stephanie's car parked at an upscale coffee shop downtown, miles from her office. Wayne drove past the location, spotting her through the window. She sat at a corner table, laughing at something the man across from her had said. Marcus Noble, successful entrepreneur, philanthropist, and according to Wayne's sources, a man with deep connections to organized crime. Wayne snapped several photos with his phone, adding them to his growing collection of evidence. Marcus reached across the table, touching Stephanie's hand. She didn't pull away. The urge to storm in and confront them surged through Wayne's veins, but he suppressed it. Patience had made him an exceptional operative. Patience would serve him now. His phone buzzed, an unknown number. "Wayne Arnold." The male voice sounded familiar. "It's Arthur Holman. We need to talk." Wayne's grip tightened on the steering wheel. He hadn't heard from Arthur since their last mission together 5 years ago. "Not a good time." "Make time. That wife of yours. She's not who you think she is." Coffee shop on 5th and Main. 20 minutes. Arthur sat in the back booth when Wayne arrived, looking older but no less dangerous than during their military days. His eyes scanned the room continuously. Old habits died hard in their line of work. "Wasn't sure you'd show," Arthur said as Wayne sat down. "Talk. Marcus Noble's been asking questions about you, trying to dig up dirt from your past operations." Arthur leaned forward. "He's got something planned, and your wife's in on it." Wayne's expression remained impassive. "You're sure?" "I still have contacts in the intelligence community. Noble's connected to at least 3 assassinations in the past year, all made to look like accidents." Arthur slid a manila envelope across the table. "Watch your back, Wayne. And don't trust anyone close to you." Back home that evening, Wayne found Stephanie in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner. She'd changed from her work clothes into yoga pants and a tank top, keeping up appearances despite skipping her non-existent class. "You're home early," she said, not looking up from the cutting board. Wayne moved behind her, noting how she tensed slightly at his proximity. "Thought we could have dinner together for once." "That's sweet." She set down the knife, turning to face him. "How was your day?" "Interesting." He traced a finger along her wrist, feeling her pulse quicken. "Ran into an old friend." "Oh." Her voice remained steady, but he spotted the faint bruise beneath her bracelet, the same style of bruising he'd seen on targets who'd been restrained. "Arthur Holman. Remember him from the military barbecue a few years back?" Stephanie's smile faltered for a fraction of a second. "Vaguely. Isn't he the one who got discharged?" "Honorable discharge," Wayne corrected. "He's been keeping tabs on old friends." The knife gleamed on the cutting board between them. Wayne wondered if she was calculating the distance, weighing her options. Instead, she turned back to her vegetables. "That's nice. I'm going to take a shower before dinner." Wayne waited until he heard the water running upstairs. Moving silently, he climbed to the attic, pulling away the false panel he'd installed years ago. The hidden safe contained everything he'd need: passports, cash, weapons, and most recently, the documents connecting Stephanie to Marcus Noble. He spread the papers across the floor, adding the photos from today's surveillance. Hotel receipts, bank statements showing irregular transfers, phone records documenting hundreds of calls and messages. A web of betrayal laid bare in black and white. The water shut off downstairs. Wayne restored the safe's hiding place and descended to the living room, positioning himself on the couch with a book. He'd learned early in his career that the best way to observe a target was to make them believe you weren't watching at all. Stephanie emerged in her robe, hair wrapped in a towel. "I ordered takeout instead. Didn't feel like cooking after all." "Whatever you want." Wayne turned a page, positioning himself to watch her reflection in the TV screen. At 3 a.m., her whispered voice carried from the kitchen. Wayne remained motionless on the couch, his measured breathing masking his consciousness. "Listen," Stephanie hissed into her phone. "Make sure this pathetic excuse for a husband won't live to see next weekend. Send your best hitman. Make it brutal. Crush his skull and dump him in the lake." A pause as she listened to the response. "I don't care what it costs, Marcus. I want him gone." Wayne waited until she crept back upstairs before moving. In his study, he retrieved the locked briefcase from beneath the floorboards. Inside lay the tools of his former trade, weapons, surveillance equipment, everything needed to wage war from the shadows. As he checked each item, Wayne's mind shifted into operational mode. Stephanie and Marcus had signed their death warrants the moment they plotted against him. Now it was just a matter of timing, precision, and execution. They thought they were dealing with Wayne Arnold, boring office worker and naive husband. They were about to discover the truth. He was a predator who'd merely been masquerading as prey, and he never forgave betrayal. The first rays of dawn crept through the window as Wayne finalized his plans. The perfect facade had crumbled, revealing the deadly game beneath. But that was fine with Wayne. After all, death was his favorite game to play. Chapter 2: Shadows of Betrayal. Wayne sat in his parked car outside Marcus Noble's downtown office building, scrolling through data on his encrypted laptop. His investigation into Noble's background had yielded disturbing results: shell companies, offshore accounts, and a trail of convenient accidents befalling his business rivals. "Marcus Noble," Wayne muttered, studying the man's corporate headshot. "Let's see what you're hiding." His phone buzzed with an alert from one of his contacts, a detailed report on Noble's recent activities. The man portrayed himself as a philanthropist, donating millions to charities while quietly building a criminal empire. Wayne's sources suggested connections to weapons trafficking, money laundering, and contract killings. A sleek black Mercedes pulled into the executive parking space. Wayne watched through his telephoto lens as Marcus emerged, adjusting his designer suit. Two bodyguards flanked him, ex-military by their stance and alertness. Wayne's lip curled. Noble played at being a soldier with his hired muscle, but he'd never known real combat, never felt the intimate violence of close-quarters killing, or experienced the cold calculation required for wet-work operations. Time to get a closer look. Wayne grabbed his maintenance uniform from the back seat, complete with a fake ID badge he'd created. The building's security was good, but he'd breached better facilities during his operative days. 20 minutes later, he pushed a cleaning cart through the luxury hotel service entrance. His intel suggested Noble kept a permanent suite here for his private meetings. The staff barely glanced at Wayne as he made his way to the executive floor. Amazing how invisible people became in uniforms. Wayne located Noble's suite and picked the lock with practiced ease. Inside, he planted microscopic cameras in strategic locations, angles that would capture any conversations or activities. The room showed signs of recent use: rumpled sheets, wine glasses on the nightstand. A familiar perfume lingered in the air, Stephanie's signature scent. Wayne's jaw clenched as he imagined them together in this room, plotting his death while enjoying their affair. He pushed the rage down, channeling it into cold focus. The hidden cameras connected to his secure server, feeding him live footage. Wayne finished his sweep of the room, ensuring everything was exactly as he'd found it. As he turned to leave, voices approached in the hallway. "I told you, Marcus, he's getting suspicious." Stephanie's voice carried through the door. "That neighbor Jen keeps dropping hints about seeing you here." Wayne slipped into the walk-in closet, leaving it cracked open enough to observe. Marcus Noble strode in, radiating arrogance. "Let her talk. Once Dale takes care of your husband, none of it will matter. And you're sure about this Dale person? He's reliable? Burton's the best in the business. Clean, professional, no traces left behind." Marcus poured himself a drink. "He's already watching your house, learning Wayne's routine." Wayne memorized the name, Dale Burton. Another piece of the puzzle falling into place. "I want it to look like an accident," Stephanie said, accepting the glass Marcus offered. "Something that won't raise questions." Marcus pulled her close, his hands possessive. "Trust me, baby. I've arranged everything. Wayne won't suspect a thing until it's too late." Wayne's fingers itched for his weapon, but he remained still. Patience. Intelligence gathering first, elimination later. "What about the money?" Stephanie asked. "I've transferred everything I could from our accounts, but he's got some investments I can't access." "Don't worry about money." Marcus kissed her neck. "Once he's gone, you'll inherit everything. And then we can finally be together openly." Their conversation devolved into intimate murmurs. Wayne used their distraction to slip out through the service entrance, his mind already formulating countermeasures. Back in his car, he reviewed the footage from his new cameras. The video quality was excellent, perfect for gathering blackmail material and evidence of their conspiracy. But something about Burton's name nagged at him. A quick search through his intelligence databases confirmed his suspicion. Dale Burton, former Special Forces, dishonorably discharged for excessive violence. Now a contract killer known for particularly brutal methods. "Amateur move, Marcus," Wayne muttered, pulling up Burton's file. "Hiring someone with a military background when your target is ex-Black Ops." His phone rang. Arthur Holman again. "Got something you need to hear," Arthur said without preamble. "Burton just put out feelers to my contacts, asking questions about your old missions. He's building a profile on you." Wayne's voice remained calm. "Let him. The more time he wastes researching, the more time I have to prepare. Watch yourself. Burton's a sadist. Likes to make his victims suffer before finishing them." "Thanks for the warning." Wayne ended the call, already adjusting his plans. Burton's involvement changed the timeline. He'd need to accelerate things before the hitman made his move. At home, Wayne found Jen Rasmussen waiting on his porch. "Wayne, got a minute?" Her attempt at casual conversation couldn't mask her predatory interest. "I'm worried about Stephanie." "Are you?" Wayne leaned against the railing, studying her. "Look, I know it's none of my business, but..." Jen glanced around before continuing. "That man who visits her, I recognized him. Marcus Noble, the businessman. They seem close. And you're telling me this out of concern?" Jen's smile turned calculating. "Let's just say I believe in looking out for my neighbors. Of course, if you wanted to show your appreciation for the information." Wayne stepped closer, his presence suddenly menacing despite his pleasant expression. "Careful, Jen. People who meddle in others' affairs tend to get hurt." She backed away, her confidence cracking. I was just trying to help. I'm sure you were. Wayne watched her retreat to her house. He'd deal with her interference later if necessary. Inside, he found Stephanie making dinner, playing house while plotting his murder. The domesticity of the scene made his skin crawl. "Rough day?" she asked, noticing his expression. "Nothing I can't handle." Wayne poured himself a drink. "How was your meeting with Marcus Noble?" The knife she was holding clattered against the cutting board. "What?" "Marcus Noble," he repeated calmly. "The man you spent 2 hours with in his hotel suite today." Stephanie's face went pale, but she rallied quickly. "I had a business lunch with several clients. Marcus Noble might have been there. Funny how your business meetings always end up in hotel rooms. Are you spying on me?" Her voice rose with artificial outrage. Wayne smiled, letting a hint of his true nature show through. "Now why would I need to spy when our concerned neighbors are so happy to share information? Those busybodies don't know anything." Stephanie tried to push past him, but Wayne caught her arm. "No marks," he said softly, releasing her. "Wouldn't want to give Dale Burton any reason to rush his timeline." The color drained from Stephanie's face. Without another word, she fled upstairs. Wayne heard her frantically dialing her phone. Perfect. Let her run to Marcus. Let them scramble to adjust their plans. Wayne returned to his study, checking his surveillance feeds. Soon they would realize their mistake, not in betraying him, but in leaving him alive long enough to discover it. He opened his laptop, beginning a detailed dossier on Dale Burton. Know your enemy, eliminate their advantages, strike when they least expect it. The lessons from his operative days flooded back. They thought they were orchestrating his death. Instead, they'd orchestrated their own downfall. Wayne smiled as he worked, remembering how much he'd enjoyed the hunt. The game was on. Chapter 3, The Web Titans. Wayne stepped out of the shower to find a message scrawled across his bathroom mirror in red lipstick. "You're running out of time." He touched the writing, still fresh. Dale Burton had been in his house, making his presence known. "Amateur intimidation tactics," Wayne muttered, wiping away the message. He checked his hidden security feeds. Burton had disabled the obvious cameras, but missed the secondary system Wayne had installed for exactly this scenario. The footage showed Burton moving through the house, but Wayne noted several tactical mistakes. The hitman was good, but he relied too heavily on brute force and intimidation. Wayne had learned long ago that true power lay in subtlety and preparation. His phone buzzed with a text from Stephanie. "Working late tonight. Don't wait up." Wayne pulled up the tracking app. Her car was already heading toward Marcus Noble's estate. Their meetings had become more frequent, their desperation growing as Wayne systematically dismantled their sense of security. "Go ahead," he said to the empty room. "Run to your lover. See how well he protects you." In his study, Wayne reviewed the latest intelligence from his surveillance. Stephanie's phone conversations with Marcus had grown increasingly frantic. "He knows something, Marcus. The way he looks at me. It's like he's waiting for something. Calm down, baby. Burton's handling it. Just keep playing your part. I can't take much more of this. Every time Wayne touches me, I feel sick. When will it be done?" "Soon. Burton's just waiting for the right moment. We have to be patient." Wayne's lip curled at their obvious panic. He'd spent the past week tightening the noose, leaving evidence of his knowledge in subtle ways, watching them scramble to adjust their plans. A knock at the door interrupted his thoughts. Through the security camera, he saw Jen Rasmussen shifting nervously on his porch. "Wayne." Her voice carried through the door. "We need to talk. It's about Stephanie." He opened the door, noting the determined set of her jaw. "Come in, Jen." She strode into his living room, turning to face him with forced confidence. "I want $50,000. "Excuse me?" "For my silence." Jen pulled out her phone, showing him photos of Stephanie and Marcus together. "I have proof of their affair. Either you pay me, or these go to everyone in the neighborhood." Wayne studied the photos with mild interest. "Is that all you have?" "What do you mean? Just the affair? Nothing about the money they've stolen from me? Nothing about their plans to have me killed?" Jen's eyes widened. "What are you talking about?" "Sit down, Jen." Wayne's voice carried an edge that made her comply instantly. "Let's discuss your role in all this." "My role? I don't." The nights you watched our house, reporting to Stephanie when I came and went. The concerned neighbor acted to gauge how much I suspected. Wayne moved closer, his presence making her shrink back. Did they pay you well for spying on me? They said they just needed information, Jen whispered. I didn't know about. I swear I didn't know they wanted to kill you. And now you thought you'd make some extra money by blackmailing me? Wayne smiled, the expression never reaching his eyes. That was a mistake. He pulled out a folder, spreading photos across the coffee table. Images of Jen meeting with Marcus, accepting envelopes of cash, watching Wayne's house through binoculars. How? Where did you get these? I've been doing this a lot longer than you, Jen. Did you really think I wouldn't notice your amateur surveillance? Tears streaked her makeup. Please, I have children, who are safely at their father's house this week. Wayne's voice remained calm. Now, here's what's going to happen. You're going to continue your role as their spy, but you'll report everything to me instead. If you warn them, if you try to run, if you breathe a word of this conversation to anyone. He let the threat hang unspoken. I understand, Jen choked out. Whatever you want. Good. Now call Stephanie. Tell her I've been acting strangely, like I might be planning to leave town. Wayne watched Jen make the call, her voice impressively steady as she fed Stephanie the information he'd scripted. Perfect. This would accelerate their timeline, force them to act rashly. After Jen left, Wayne received another alert from his surveillance system. Dale Burton was making his move, setting up position in the empty house across the street. Wayne accessed the cameras he'd hidden there weeks ago, watching the hitman prepare his sniper nest. Sloppy, Wayne muttered, noting all the tactical errors in Burton's setup. The man was skilled, but he'd grown overconfident. Fatal mistake in their line of work. His phone rang. Arthur Holman. Burton's moved up his timeline, Arthur said without preamble. He's planning to take the shot tonight. I know. He's already in position. Want me to handle it? Wayne checked his weapons. No. Burton's mine. But I need you to track Stephanie and Marcus. Don't engage, just observe. You got it. Wayne, whatever you're planning, be careful. Noble's got friends in high places. Not for long. Wayne moved through his house, preparing for the confrontation. Weapons checked and loaded. Escape routes confirmed. Contingency plans in place. His phone pinged with an update from Jen. Stephanie had called Marcus in a panic after her conversation with the neighbor. They were meeting at the hotel to revise their plans. Through his surveillance feeds, Wayne watched Burton adjust his rifle, preparing for the kill shot. The hitman had chosen the obvious position, never considering that his target might be several steps ahead. Wayne pulled up the hotel security cameras he'd hacked, watching Stephanie rush into Marcus's suite. Their fear was palpable even through the video feed. They thought they were the predators in this game, never realizing they were actually the prey. Time to spring the trap. Wayne activated his phone's voice recorder and dialed Stephanie's number. She answered on the first ring. Wayne, what's wrong? Just wanted to let you know I'll be working late tonight. Don't wait up. A pause. Oh, okay. Everything all right? Never better. Wayne smiled as he checked his watch. By the way, tell Marcus he should have hired a better hitman. Burton's getting sloppy. He ended the call, imagining their panic. Right on cue, his surveillance showed Stephanie and Marcus frantically arguing in the hotel room. Everything was proceeding exactly as he'd planned. Wayne moved silently through his house, positioning himself for the endgame. Soon, Burton would realize his target wasn't following the expected routine. Soon, Stephanie and Marcus would discover just how badly they'd underestimated him. The web had tightened around them all. Now it was time for the spider to claim his prey. Wayne checked his weapons one final time, a cold smile playing across his face. He'd given Stephanie everything, trusted her with his life and his heart. Her betrayal had awakened something he tried to bury, the ruthless operative who dealt in death and retribution. Now she and her conspirators would learn why he'd been the most feared assassin in the Black Ops community, why targets spoke his name in whispers, why no one who betrayed him lived to tell about it. The hunt was on, and Wayne Arnold never left survivors. Chapter 4. The Game of Deception. Wayne Arnold adjusted his tie in the mirror, his reflection showing the perfect image of a concerned husband. The mask he wore now felt familiar, a necessary deception in his elaborate game of revenge. "I'm worried about you," Stephanie said, appearing behind him. "You've been so distant lately." Wayne turned, studying the false concern in her eyes. She played her role well, but he caught the subtle tells, the slight tension in her shoulders, the way her fingers twitched toward her phone. "Just work stress," he replied, his voice carefully modulated. "Nothing to worry about." The morning proceeded with their practiced routine, but beneath the surface, wheels turned. Wayne had spent weeks cultivating his image as an oblivious spouse, feeding Stephanie's confidence while gathering intelligence through Dale Burton, his unexpected ally. His phone buzzed, a text from Dale. "Noble's getting paranoid. Hired extra security." Wayne deleted the message, remembering how he'd turned Marcus's hitman to his side. Burton's gambling debts had made him vulnerable, and Wayne had exploited that weakness masterfully. Now the assassin served as his inside man, feeding him crucial information about Marcus's operation. A knock at his office door interrupted his thoughts. "Mr. Arnold? There's someone here to see you." The woman who entered carried herself with the practiced awareness of someone used to watching their back. "I'm Glenda Miller, private investigator." Wayne assessed her instantly. Athletic build hidden under professional attire, slight bulge of a concealed weapon, eyes that missed nothing. "How can I help you?" "I think we might have mutual interests regarding Marcus Noble." Glenda placed a thick folder on his desk. "My client wants him taken down. From what I've gathered, you might want the same thing." Wayne didn't reach for the folder. "What makes you think that?" "Because I've been watching him for months, including his meetings with your wife." Glenda met his gaze without flinching. "And I've seen you watching them too." A moment of tension stretched between them before Wayne spoke. "Close the door." Over the next hour, they compared intelligence. Glenda's investigation had uncovered layers of Marcus's criminal enterprise that even Wayne hadn't discovered. In return, he shared select pieces of information that would benefit their shared goal. "Why should I trust you?" Wayne asked finally. "You shouldn't." Glenda's honesty was refreshing. "Trust the evidence, trust our mutual objective, but never trust me completely." "I wouldn't trust you either." Wayne's lip curled in appreciation. "Fair enough. Keep me informed of any developments." Back home, Stephanie grew increasingly agitated. Wayne observed her paranoia mounting as his planted evidence suggested he might be planning to leave her. "Where were you last week when you said you were working late?" she demanded over dinner. "Meeting with lawyers." Wayne took another bite, watching her reaction. "Just exploring some options." Stephanie's fork clattered against her plate. "What kind of options?" "Investment opportunities, property division, that sort of thing." He kept his tone casual. "Why? Something wrong?" No. She reached for her phone, hands trembling slightly. I thought we were happy. Weren't we?" Wayne's voice carried just enough edge to make her pause. Later that night, his surveillance caught her frantic call to Marcus. "He's acting strange. I think he knows something. What if he's planning to leave before we can implement our plan?" Marcus's voice oozed false confidence. "Relax, baby. I'm hosting a dinner party next week. Important people will be there. Once we close this next deal, we'll have enough leverage to accelerate our timeline." Wayne smiled in the darkness. The dinner party would provide perfect cover for his infiltration. His skills as an operative hadn't dulled. If anything, they'd sharpened during his years of maintaining his civilian facade. Dale provided the details: guest list, security rotations, delivery schedules. Wayne memorized them all, planning his approach. "Noble's getting sloppy," Dale reported during their secure meeting. "The pressure's making him rush things." "Good." Wayne studied the building plans. "Tell me about the security cameras." "Standard setup, but I've got access to the feeds. I can loop them for 20 minutes max before someone might notice." 20 minutes would be enough. Wayne had already arranged his cover as part of the catering staff, complete with falsified background checks that would withstand scrutiny. The night of the party arrived, and Wayne moved through the mansion's kitchen with practiced efficiency. His server's uniform granted him invisibility among the wealthy guests, allowing him to observe while remaining unnoticed. Marcus held court in the main dining room, surrounded by his criminal associates. Wayne cataloged faces, matching them to the dossiers Glinda had provided. Each one represented a potential pressure point to exploit. The shipment arrives next Tuesday, Marcus announced to his inner circle. Everything's arranged with customs. We stand to clear 8 figures minimum. Wayne served drinks, gathering intelligence while maintaining his submissive posture. The rich and powerful never looked twice at the help, a mistake that would cost them dearly. His earpiece crackled with Dale's voice. Stephanie just arrived. Heading your way. She entered in a designer dress, playing her role as Marcus's secret lover perfectly. Not one guest suspected she was married to the unassuming server refilling their champagne. The plan proceeds on schedule, Marcus told her when they thought no one was listening. Wayne won't be a problem much longer. Wayne's hand tightened imperceptibly on the champagne bottle, but his expression remained neutral. Let them plot. Let them scheme. Each word they spoke added another nail to their coffins. Back home, Stephanie found him in his study. You missed a nice dinner party, she said. Marcus Noble hosted quite an event. Did he? Wayne didn't look up from his laptop. Shame I had to work late. Yes. She lingered in the doorway. Wayne, are we okay? You've been different lately. He met her gaze, allowing a fraction of his true nature to show through. Different how? Stephanie stepped back involuntarily. Never mind. I'm going to bed. Wayne returned to his work, coordinating with Glinda via encrypted messages. The pieces were falling into place. Marcus's empire would crumble, and Stephanie would learn the cost of betrayal. His phone buzzed. Another message from Dale. Noble's planning something big. Want me to dig deeper? Stay close to him, Wayne replied. But be careful. He's getting desperate. The game of deception continued, each player moving their pieces across an invisible board. But only Wayne saw the full picture, orchestrating events with the patience of a master strategist. Soon, very soon, they would all learn why he had been the most feared operative in the Black Ops world. Not for his physical skills, though those were exceptional. Not for his tactical knowledge, though that was unmatched. No, Wayne Arnold had earned his reputation through his ability to destroy his targets completely, mentally, emotionally, financially, before delivering the final blow. Stephanie and Marcus had started this game thinking they were the players. They were about to discover they were merely pawns. The memory of his past missions surfaced as Wayne reviewed the intelligence gathered at Marcus's dinner party. Images flashed through his mind. Targets eliminated, missions completed, the cold satisfaction of a job well done. He tried to bury that part of himself when he married Stephanie, believing he could find peace in normalcy. His sister Julie's voice echoed in his thoughts. You can't run from who you are, Wayne. She'd been right. The skills that made him lethal hadn't disappeared. They'd merely gone dormant. Now, awakened by betrayal, they served a new purpose. Mr. Arnold? His secretary's voice interrupted his thoughts. Ms. Miller is here to see you. Glinda entered his office, carrying fresh intel. Noble's shipment is bigger than we thought. Weapons, drugs, detailed blackmail files on half the city's officials. Show me. They spent the next hour analyzing manifests and shipping routes. Glinda's resources complemented Wayne's operational experience, creating a formidable intelligence network. There's something else, Glinda said, hesitating. Marcus approached me yesterday, offered me twice my current fee to switch sides. Wayne's hand moved imperceptibly closer to his concealed weapon. And I told him I'd think about it. Glinda met his gaze. Thought you should know. I'm not taking his offer, but he's getting desperate enough to try buying off your allies. Smart move telling me. Wayne's tension eased slightly. Keep playing along. Feed him just enough to maintain credibility. You don't seem surprised he tried to turn me. I've got contingencies for everything, Glinda, including you betraying me. She smiled grimly. I'd expect nothing less. After she left, Wayne received another update from Dale. The hitman's gambling addiction had made him the perfect asset, desperate enough to be controlled, skilled enough to be useful. Noble's inner circle is fracturing, Dale reported. The dinner party spooked some of his investors. They're worried about exposure. Good. Wayne began drafting his next move. Keep pushing that angle. Make them question his judgment. At home, Stephanie's paranoia reached new heights. She jumped at small noises, checked her phone constantly, and watched Wayne with increasing suspicion. "Going somewhere?" she asked, finding him packing a briefcase. "Business trip next week." Wayne continued packing. "Should only be a few days." "Where?" "Cincinnati." He planted evidence suggesting he was meeting divorce lawyers there. "Company merger." Stephanie's hands twisted together. "I'll miss you. Will you?" Wayne looked up, letting his mask slip just enough to make her uncomfortable. "Somehow I doubt that." Later, his surveillance caught her frantic call to Marcus. "He's definitely planning something. We need to move faster." "Patience, baby," Marcus soothed. "Everything's under control. The shipment next week will secure our position. After that, we can deal with Wayne permanently." Wayne allowed himself a small smile. Their desperation made them predictable. Each move they made pushed them further into his trap. Dale's next report confirmed it. "Nobles ordered me to accelerate the timeline. Wants Wayne eliminated before the shipment arrives." "Perfect." Wayne's plan crystallized. "Tell him you need time to set up properly. Make him think you're being thorough. What if he hires someone else?" "He won't. You've convinced him you're his best option. Just keep him on edge." The pieces continued falling into place. Wayne's network of surveillance and informants painted a clear picture of Marcus's crumbling empire. The man's desperation grew with each passing day, making him sloppy, prone to mistakes. Glenda's intelligence confirmed it. His partners are getting nervous. 3 major investors pulled out this morning. "Send me the names," Wayne instructed. "I'll make sure they share their concerns with others." The psychological warfare took its toll on Stephanie as well. She lost weight, developed dark circles under her eyes, jumped at shadows. Wayne watched her deterioration with cold satisfaction. "Wayne," she called out one night, voice trembling. "Are you awake?" He remained silent on the couch, listening as she crept downstairs to make another late-night call. "Marcus, please," she begged. "I can't take this anymore." Wayne knows something. I see it in his eyes. "He's playing with us. I know he is." "You're being paranoid," Marcus snapped. "Stay focused. Once the shipment clears and Burton takes care of Wayne, we'll be free." But Wayne heard the fear in Marcus's voice too. The man's carefully constructed world was falling apart, and he couldn't understand why. Good. Let them feel the pressure. Let them taste the fear they tried to inflict on him. Wayne moved silently to his study, reviewing the final preparations for his endgame. The fake evidence suggesting his plans to leave had pushed them exactly where he wanted. Rushed, frightened, making mistakes. His phone buzzed with a message from Glenda. "Nobles called an emergency meeting with his partners tomorrow. Want me there?" "Watch from a distance," Wayne replied. "Record everything." The next day, Wayne maintained his facade at work while monitoring the chaos unfolding in Marcus's organization. His enemies thought they were the hunters, never realizing they were the prey. Soon, very soon, they would understand the magnitude of their mistake. Not in betraying Wayne Arnold, the ordinary husband. No, their fatal error was awakening the operative he used to be. The man who had earned his reputation by destroying targets so completely they wished for death long before he granted it. The game of deception was reaching its climax. Wayne had all the pieces in position, all the players exactly where he needed them. Time to spring the trap. Chapter 5. The Breaking Point. Police sirens pierced the night as squad cars surrounded Marcus Noble's warehouse. Wayne watched from his vantage point as officers breached the building, catching the security team completely off guard. The raid's timing was perfect, right as the illegal shipment was being unloaded. His phone vibrated. "Wayne," Marcus's voice shook with barely controlled rage. "What have you done?" "Done? I'm at home watching TV. No idea what you're talking about. Don't play games with me." Someone tipped off the police about everything. The shipment, the documents, the money trails. Wayne's voice remained calm. "Sounds like you have a serious problem." "I'll kill you for this," Marcus snarled. "You have no idea what you're dealing with." "Actually, Marcus, you're the one who never understood what you were dealing with." "How's the raid going?" "I hear they found your blackmail files." The line went dead. Wayne switched to his surveillance feed, watching Marcus pace in his office like a caged animal. The man's carefully constructed empire crumbled around him as police seized crates of weapons, drugs, and incriminating documents. Status report, Wayne commanded into his secure line. Glenda's voice came through crisp and clear. Police have the manifests. Marcus's key lieutenants are already turning on him, trying to cut deals. His organization's in chaos. Good. Stay on site. Monitor who tries to run. Wayne's next call was to Dale. How's our friend handling the situation? Losing it completely, Dale reported. He's burned 3 phones already, trying to contact his corrupt officials. No one's answering. Keep him focused on me as the target. Make him think eliminating me will somehow fix this. Wayne ended the call, switching to the feed from Stephanie's car. She was driving erratically, heading toward Marcus's office despite the police activity. Amateur move. His surveillance caught their meeting in Marcus's private office, one of the few places not yet raided. What are we going to do? Stephanie's voice trembled. They'll find the money transfers, the contracts, everything. Shut up and let me think. Marcus slammed his fist on the desk. This is your fault. You couldn't handle Wayne properly, couldn't keep him distracted. My fault? You promised to take care of him weeks ago. Now he's somehow 10 steps ahead of us. Wayne smiled as he listened to them turn on each other. Pressure revealed true character, and theirs was disintegrating beautifully. His phone buzzed with another update from Glenda. Police found the offshore account records. They're moving on his secondary locations now. Stay with the primary target, Wayne instructed. The others don't matter. A text from Dale followed. Nobles called an emergency meeting. Says he has a plan to fix everything. Wayne's lip curled. Marcus was predictable in his desperation. The meeting would be an attempt to rally his failing forces, to project strength he no longer possessed. Stephanie's next call confirmed it. She paced her hotel room, unaware of Wayne's surveillance devices capturing every word. Marcus has a plan, she told someone, her voice breaking. Says he can still salvage this if Wayne disappears tonight. No more waiting. The response was immediate. Mrs. Arnold, this call never happened. I'm not interested in murder charges when this falls apart. Please, you don't understand. He knows everything. Wayne's been playing us the whole time. That's your problem. I'm out. Wayne tracked her increasing desperation through the afternoon. She called 12 different contacts, former allies, fixers, even attempted to reach some of Wayne's old military connections. Each one refused to help. Finally, she tried one last call. Marcus? Everyone's abandoned us. What do we do now? Meet me at the usual place in an hour. Bring anything incriminating from your house. We're cleaning everything out. Wayne watched through his cameras as Stephanie ransacked their home, searching for evidence. She didn't find the real records. Those were long secure in Wayne's hidden safes. Instead, she found what he'd planted, documents suggesting he'd known about their plot for months. Her phone call to Marcus was panic incarnate. He knew. Marcus. He's known everything from the start. Get to my office. Now. Wayne decided it was time for the final push. He sent a single text to Stephanie. Found something interesting in the attic safe. Want to explain the transfer records? Her response was to drive even faster toward Marcus's building. Wayne tracked her progress while coordinating with his allies. Dale, you're up. Make the meet convincing. The trap was elegant in its simplicity. Dale contacted Marcus, claiming to have sensitive information about Wayne's movements. Marcus, desperate for a win, agreed to meet personally. Wayne watched through surveillance as Marcus arrived at the designated location, an abandoned office building on the edge of town. Dale played his part perfectly, leading Marcus deeper inside with promises of intelligence that would solve all his problems. Wayne's got a routine, Dale explained, drawing Marcus in. It's the gym every night at 8. Isolated, vulnerable, perfect time to strike. Show me the surveillance, Marcus demanded. Right through here. The door opened to reveal Wayne sitting calmly at a desk, weapon resting casually on the surface. Dale stepped back, cutting off Marcus's retreat. Evening, Marcus. Wayne's voice carried no emotion. Let's discuss your recent business decisions. Marcus reached for his own gun, but froze as multiple laser sights appeared on his chest. I wouldn't. Wayne nodded to the hidden sniper positions where Glinda and other operatives waited. Sit down. We have a lot to talk about. The next hour demonstrated why Wayne had been legendary in his former profession. He systematically broke Marcus down, using psychological warfare honed through years of interrogation experience. Here's what happens next, Wayne explained, sliding a phone across the desk. You're going to call your associates and confess everything. The murder plots, the embezzlement, the affair. All of it. You're insane, Marcus spat. I'll never. Wayne played a recording. Marcus's own voice detailing plans to have Wayne killed, followed by clips of his conversations about illegal shipments. That's just a sample. Imagine these reaching law enforcement agency, business partner, family member. Wayne's smile held no warmth. Your choice. Confess now and face prosecution, or resist and lose everything before prison anyway. Marcus broke. Wayne recorded every word as the man detailed his crimes, implicated his conspirators, and revealed the full scope of his operation. One last thing, Wayne said after Marcus finished. Call Stephanie. Tell her it's over. Meanwhile, Stephanie had discovered her key card to Marcus's office no longer worked. Her increasingly hysterical calls went unanswered as she realized how completely their plan had failed. Wayne's final text to her was simple. Check your email. He'd sent the video of Marcus's confession, along with full documentation of their conspiracy. Her response was a string of panicked messages, begging for mercy, claiming she could explain everything. Wayne didn't reply. Instead, he forwarded the evidence to law enforcement, then sat back to watch as karma delivered its justice. Marcus Noble's empire hadn't just fallen. It had been systematically dismantled by the very man they tried to destroy. The predator they'd mistaken for prey had revealed his true nature, and the price of their miscalculation would haunt them forever. Stephanie's desperation reached new heights as Wayne's trap closed around her. She returned to their house, frantically gathering cash and documents. Her hands shook as she pulled a hidden passport from her desk, one Wayne had known about for months. Her phone rang. The private jet's ready, her contact said, but you need to hurry. Police are moving on all Noble's associates. Wayne tracked her movements through his surveillance network as she rushed to pack. Amateur mistakes betrayed her panic, leaving drawers open, dropping papers, missing the obvious cameras recording everything. She's heading to the airport, Glinda reported. Want me to intercept? Not yet. Let her feel the pressure. Stephanie made 3 stops on her way to the private airfield, an ATM for maximum cash withdrawal, a storage unit containing emergency supplies, and a brief meeting with one of Marcus's former accountants. Wayne's surveillance caught their conversation in the parking garage. Please, Stephanie begged. I need access to the backup accounts. Those accounts are frozen, the accountant replied. Everyone connected to Noble is toxic now. You're on your own. Her next call was to Marcus's pilot. Is the plane ready? Sorry, Mrs. Arnold. Mr. Noble's assets are seized. The jet's grounded. Wayne allowed himself a small smile as he watched her world collapse. Each backup plan, each escape route, each hidden resource, all had been identified and neutralized weeks ago. Targets approaching the private airfield, Dale reported. She's got about $2 million in cash and jewels. Right on schedule. Take your position. Wayne drove to the airfield, watching Stephanie's increasing panic through his cameras. She paced the private terminal, trying repeatedly to contact Marcus, unaware he was already in custody. Going somewhere? Wayne's voice made her freeze. Wayne. She spun around, forcing a smile. I can explain everything. Can you? He held up a USB drive. Explain these transfer records? The hotel meetings? The conversations about having me killed? That's not. I didn't. She backed away, looking for escape routes. Marcus made me do it. He threatened me. Wayne played a recording, her own voice plotting his murder, laughing with Marcus about their plans. Her face crumpled as the evidence of her betrayal filled the terminal. The police have everything, Wayne said calmly. Your conspirators are turning on each other, making deals. You've got nothing left. Please, she whispered. We can work this out. I'll tell you everything. Oh, you will. But not to save our marriage. Wayne nodded to the police officers entering the terminal. You'll confess because it's your only option for a lighter sentence. Stephanie's composure shattered. She sank to her knees, tears ruining her makeup as she realized the completeness of her defeat. Wayne, I'm sorry. I'll do anything. You already did everything. To betray me. To destroy me. To replace me. His voice remained cold. Now you'll face the consequences. The police led her away as Wayne retrieved her bags. Evidence for the prosecution. His phone buzzed with updates about Marcus's organization crumbling. Former allies turned informant, offshore accounts frozen, properties seized. Glinda sustained a minor injury during the raid, Dale reported. Marcus's security made one last stand at the warehouse. Is she stable? Yes. Said to tell you it was worth it to see Noble's empire fall. Wayne drove home, reviewing the day's events. Stephanie and Marcus had thought themselves clever, plotting against a simple office worker. They'd never understood the depth of their mistake. His phone rang. Dale Burton one final time. It's done, Dale said. Everything you planned, exactly as you predicted. I've never seen anything like it. Your gambling debts are cleared, Wayne replied. The account transfer is already done. Disappear for a while. You know, they never realized. You didn't just destroy their plans. You broke them completely. They'll never recover from this. That was the point. Wayne ended the call, entering his empty house. In his study, he reviewed the video feeds one last time. Marcus breaking down during interrogation, Stephanie's failed escape, their criminal empire collapsing into dust. A text from Glinda lit up his phone. Stephanie's singing like a bird to the DA. Marcus's inner circle is decimated. Ready to retire? Wayne didn't respond immediately. The operation was complete, his revenge executed perfectly. But retirement? No. This had awakened something in him. Not just the operative skills, but the clarity of purpose that came with them. His enemies had thought him vulnerable, domesticated by suburban life. Their betrayal had reminded him of his true nature. Wayne Arnold wasn't just a former operative who tried to live a normal life. He was a predator who'd been patient enough to wait for the perfect moment to strike. And now, with his enemies destroyed and their betrayal avenged, he could finally admit the truth. He'd never been happier. Chapter 6. The Price of Vengeance. Detective Sarah Chun studied Wayne Arnold across the interrogation table. You expect me to believe you had no involvement in Marcus Noble's downfall? Wayne maintained his calm demeanor, portraying the image of a wronged husband. I'm just as surprised as anyone. My wife's affair with him was shocking enough, but the criminal enterprise? I had no idea. Convenient timing, though. Right after you discovered their plot against you. Are you suggesting I orchestrated the police raid, detective? That's quite a leap. Wayne's expression remained neutral. I'm a mid-level office worker whose wife cheated on him. Nothing more. Sarah shuffled through her files. Your military record suggests otherwise. Black Ops isn't exactly nothing more. Ancient history. I left that life behind years ago. Did you? She spread photos across the table, surveillance shots of Wayne meeting with Dale Burton, Glinda Miller, and various other operatives. You've been busy for someone uninvolved. Wayne studied the photos with mild interest. Is it illegal to meet with old colleagues? When those meetings precede the systematic destruction of a criminal empire, it raises questions. I'm sure it does. Do you have any evidence of wrongdoing on my part? Sarah's frustration showed. Not yet, but we'll keep looking. Good luck with that. Wayne stood, straightening his tie. Now, unless you're charging me with something, I have matters to attend to. Outside the police station, his phone buzzed. Julie's name flashed on the screen. Wayne, we need to talk. His sister's voice carried concern. This vendetta, it's consuming you. I'm fine, Julie. No, you're not. I'm coming over. This isn't a request. Julie arrived at his house an hour later, her determined expression reminiscent of their mother's. Look at yourself, she said, gesturing to his meticulously organized study, walls covered in surveillance photos and intelligence reports. You've turned back into the operative. The killer. They tried to murder me, Julie. Betrayed me. Stole from me. And you've destroyed them completely. But at what cost? She gripped his arm. You need help processing this trauma before it hollows you out. Wayne pulled away. I don't need therapy. You do. The Wayne I know, my brother. He's more than just revenge and death. Their argument was interrupted by breaking news on the TV. Stephanie's face filled the screen as reporters detailed her public humiliation. Former friends and neighbors provided sound bites, expressing shock and disgust at her actions. The community is reeling from revelations about Stephanie Clements Arnold's involvement in her husband's murder plot, the reporter announced. Sources say she's cooperating with authorities, providing detailed information about Marcus Noble's criminal activities. Julie watched Wayne's expression. Does her suffering bring you peace? Before he could answer, his security system alerted him to movement at the perimeter. Wayne checked the cameras, tensing as he spotted familiar faces. Marcus's people, he told Julie. Get to the panic room. Wayne, now. He moved silently through the house, weapon ready. His phone displayed multiple targets approaching, amateur enforcers trying to prove themselves by targeting him. Police are 3 minutes out. Glenda's voice came through his earpiece. Want me to engage? No, they're mine. Wayne disabled the first 2 intruders with brutal efficiency, strikes to critical nerve clusters, leaving them unconscious. The third managed to break in through a window, only to find himself face down, arm twisted behind his back. Tell Roberto his succession plan is ill-advised, Wayne growled. Remind him what happened to Marcus. Police sirens approached as Wayne secured the survivors. He placed an anonymous call, ensuring officers would find evidence linking the attackers to Roberto Higgins, Marcus's would-be successor. Julie emerged from the panic room, shaken but resolute. This is exactly what I meant. You're surrounded by violence and revenge. They brought the violence to me because you can't let go. She gripped his shoulders. Wayne, you're my brother and I love you. But this path leads nowhere good. Her words struck deeper than he expected. Images flashed through his mind, missions from his operative days, faces of targets, the weight of necessary kills. I'm not that person anymore, he insisted. Then prove it. Come to therapy with me. Start healing. Wayne's phone buzzed with updates about Roberto's organization. The man was making moves, trying to fill the power vacuum left by Marcus's fall. I will, he told Julie. After one last piece of business, Wayne, Roberto needs to understand the consequences of targeting me. Then I'll consider therapy. Julie sighed but nodded, knowing she couldn't stop him. Promise me you won't lose yourself completely. Wayne watched her leave, her words echoing in his mind. He turned to his intelligence feeds, studying Roberto's operation. The man was making the same mistakes as Marcus, underestimating Wayne, thinking him vulnerable. His phone lit up with a message from Glenda. Roberto's gathering forces. Want me to reactivate our network? Wayne considered Julie's warning, weighing it against the threat. Roberto had chosen this path, chosen to continue Marcus's vendetta. Reactivate everything, he replied. He wants to play Marcus's game? Let's show him how it ends. Hours later, Wayne stood in his study, coordinating with his allies. Roberto's organization would fall just like Marcus's, systematically, completely, without mercy. A text from Dale. Heard about the attack. Need backup? Stay on standby. This won't take long. Wayne pulled up the dossier on Roberto Higgins, studying his weaknesses. The man was ambitious but careless, thinking he could succeed where Marcus had failed. Time to teach him the cost of that ambition. His phone rang, Detective Chin again. Wayne let it go to voicemail, focusing on his plans. Let the police chase their theories. He'd learned long ago how to operate in the shadows, leaving no evidence that could stick. Julie's words about therapy nagged at him, but he pushed them aside. There would be time for healing later. First, he had to ensure his enemies understood a fundamental truth. Wayne Arnold didn't just defeat his opponents. He erased them completely, leaving nothing but cautionary tales and broken ambitions. Roberto would learn this lesson soon enough. They all would. The price of vengeance wasn't just paid by its targets. It was a currency Wayne traded in willingly, exchanging pieces of his humanity for the power to destroy those who wronged him. And he never left a debt unpaid. Chapter 7. The Shadows Fade. Wayne Arnold surveyed his new domain, a cottage perched on rocky cliffs overlooking the Pacific. The location offered multiple escape routes, clear sight lines in all directions, and enough distance from neighbors to prevent unwanted surveillance. Perfect for a man who never truly stopped being an operative. His phone buzzed with a message from Julie. "Settled in yet?" "Getting there," he replied, checking his security feeds. Old habits died hard. The coastal town of Port Haven suited his purposes. Small enough to monitor all access points, large enough to maintain anonymity. He'd chosen it carefully, just as he'd chosen his new covers: boat mechanic, self-defense instructor, youth mentor. Each role provided legitimate reasons to maintain his physical capabilities while appearing harmless to the community. "Mr. Arnold?" A voice called from the driveway. "About that boat repair?" Wayne identified the speaker through his cameras before responding. Mike Chun, local fisherman, no obvious connections to his past enemies. Still, Wayne kept his guard up as he approached. "Call me Wayne," he said, noting the man's calloused hands and sea-weathered face. Genuine working man, not an operative in disguise. "Got a problem with the engine mount. Heard you're good with mechanical work." Wayne followed Mike to the docks, analyzing potential threats and escape routes out of ingrained habit. The marina offered multiple advantages: clear view of approaching vehicles, easy water access for emergencies, regular traffic patterns that would reveal surveillance attempts. As he worked on the boat engine, Wayne gathered intelligence about his new community. Mike chatted freely about local politics, business owners, social dynamics, all valuable data for establishing secure cover. "You should meet Eleanor Abbott," Mike mentioned. "Runs the community center. Always looking for volunteers to teach self-defense classes." Wayne had already researched Eleanor thoroughly. Widow, former trauma counselor, now running support groups for abuse survivors. No suspicious connections or activities in her background. Still, he'd verify personally before making contact. That night, the nightmares came again. Blood-soaked missions blended with recent events. Marcus's broken face as Wayne destroyed him, Stephanie's tears as she confessed, Roberto's thugs learning the cost of threatening Wayne's sister. He woke instantly alert, weapon in hand, before remembering where he was. The dreams weren't weakness. They were his mind processing mission data, maintaining tactical awareness. A knock at his door the next morning revealed an unexpected visitor. Eleanor Abbott. She introduced herself. "Welcome to Port Haven." Wayne assessed her automatically, mid-40s, athletic build suggesting regular exercise, alert eyes that missed little. She carried herself with the quiet confidence of someone who'd faced darkness and survived. "Mike mentioned you're looking for self-defense instructors," Wayne said, maintaining his cover story. Among other things, Eleanor's direct gaze suggested she saw more than most. "We help people rebuild their lives after trauma. Sometimes that means physical protection skills, sometimes emotional healing. Not really qualified for the emotional part, aren't you?" She handed him a business card. "You have the look of someone who understands survival. Think about it." Wayne watched her leave, impressed despite himself. She'd picked up on his nature, but hadn't shown fear. Interesting. His background check hadn't revealed that level of perceptiveness. Over the next weeks, Wayne established his routines. Boat repairs provided cover for monitoring harbor traffic. Self-defense classes let him maintain combat readiness while assessing potential threats. Youth mentoring gave him eyes and ears throughout the community. He kept tabs on his old enemies through secure channels. Marcus rotted in prison, his empire destroyed. Stephanie faced her own sentence, abandoned by her former friends. Roberto nursed his wounds, temporarily contained but still a potential threat. Wayne's nightmares continued, but he used them productively, analyzing past missions for tactical lessons, processing intel his subconscious had gathered. The dreams weren't weakness. They were tools, just like everything else in his arsenal. "You're good with the kids," Eleanor commented after watching his youth class. "They respond to your strength." Wayne had taught them more than basic self-defense, awareness, discipline, the mindset of a survivor. They need to learn protection. Don't we all? Eleanor's expression held understanding rather than judgment. "My support group meets Thursdays if you're interested. No pressure to share. Just listen." Before Wayne could respond, his phone buzzed, a security alert. Unknown vehicle approaching town limits, matching patterns of Roberto's organization. "Another time," he said, already shifting into operational mode. The threat revealed itself that evening. 3 thugs attempting to look local and failing. Wayne tracked them through his surveillance network as they asked questions about him in town. "Leave now," he told them quietly when they approached his cottage. Last warning. The largest thug tried to look threatening. "Roberto Higgins sends his regards. Says to keep your mouth shut about Noble's operation." Wayne's move was too fast to follow. The thug found himself face down, arm locked behind his back, nerves screaming in agony. "Listen carefully," Wayne said in the same quiet voice. "Roberto's trying to rebuild what Marcus lost. Trying to prove himself. But he's making a mistake thinking he can threaten me." "We're just delivering a message," the second thug protested. "Here's my message back. I destroyed Marcus Noble completely. Roberto's operation is nothing compared to what Marcus built. If he pushes this, I'll dismantle him just as thoroughly." Wayne applied slightly more pressure, drawing a scream. "Understood?" They fled, properly terrified. Wayne watched them go, already planning countermeasures. Roberto needed a clearer demonstration of why crossing Wayne Arnold was suicide. His phone buzzed. "Eleanor. Missed you at group tonight. Doors always open." Wayne considered her offer. The tactical advantages were clear: local intelligence, established cover, potential allies. But something else tugged at him. The recognition in Eleanor's eyes of someone else who'd faced darkness and chosen to help others overcome it. He messaged back. "Next week?" The nightmares came again that night. Memories of missions, faces of targets, the cold satisfaction of executing perfect operations. But now they mixed with newer images. Students learning to defend themselves, broken people finding strength, a community that might be worth protecting. Wayne woke alert as always, analyzing the dream data. His instincts remained sharp, his skills undiminished. But perhaps they could serve a different purpose here, not just destroying enemies, but building something worth guarding. The thought didn't make him weak. A predator protecting its territory was still a predator. And anyone threatening his new domain would learn that Wayne Arnold hadn't lost his lethal edge. He checked his security feeds, verified his weapons, and began his day. The shadows of his past remained, but now they served him rather than haunting him. Let Roberto make his move. Let old enemies surface. They'd find the same truth Marcus and Stephanie had learned. Wayne Arnold might have changed locations, but he hadn't lost the ruthless efficiency that made him legendary. Some men found peace by forgetting their violent past. Wayne found his by accepting what he was, a predator who chose his battles, a warrior who selected worthy causes, a weapon that could defend as lethally as it destroyed. The sun rose over Port Haven as Wayne prepared for another day of boat repairs and combat classes. His new life wasn't an escape from who he was. It was simply a better application of his lethal skills. Chapter 8. Healing Wounds. Wayne observed the community center through his security feeds before entering. 3 months in Port Haven had expanded his influence. His self-defense classes now ran at capacity. His youth mentoring program had doubled in size. Each student provided additional surveillance. Each connection strengthened his position. "The teenagers especially respond to you," Eleanor noted as she joined him. "They recognize authentic strength." Wayne assessed her as she approached. Her movements showed martial arts training, likely from her own recovery journey. "They need practical skills, not just talk." "Speaking of which," Eleanor paused, choosing her words carefully. "Would you join me for dinner tonight? There's something I'd like to discuss." Wayne detected no deception in her request, but he'd verify her movements for the past 24 hours before accepting. 7 o'clock? "My place. I'll cook." The day proceeded with Wayne's usual tactical awareness. He monitored local frequencies, checked his surveillance networks, verified no unusual activity around Eleanor's home. Standard security protocols. Eleanor's house reflected her nature: defensible position, clear sight lines, multiple exits. She'd chosen it with a survivor's instincts. Wayne approved. "Wine?" she offered after he completed his standard security sweep of the rooms. "Just water." He never dulled his senses, even in supposedly safe situations. Eleanor nodded, unsurprised. They ate in companionable silence until she spoke. "I need to tell you something about my past. About my late husband." Wayne maintained his relaxed posture while staying alert. Personal revelations often preceded tactical situations. He was a manipulator, a controller, Eleanor continued. Charming in public, brutal in private. It took me years to escape, to rebuild my strength. You succeeded. Wayne's assessment was professional, noting the steel beneath her calm exterior. I did. That's why I recognize what you're doing here. Using your skills to protect rather than destroy. But you're holding back from fully engaging with the community. Wayne's expression didn't change. Engagement creates vulnerability. It also creates strength. Eleanor met his gaze. You're not the only warrior who's found a new mission here. Half my support group members are veterans, ex-law enforcement, survivors who've learned to channel their combat mindset into helping others. Before Wayne could respond, his phone buzzed, Julie requesting a video call. He answered with Eleanor's permission, maintaining situational awareness. Big brother. Julie's smile carried genuine warmth. You look good. Port Haven agrees with you. Wayne noted the positive changes in his sister. She'd regained weight loss during the crisis with Marcus. Her confidence had returned. How's the family? Thriving. The kids miss their Uncle Wayne, but they understand you needed a fresh start. Julie's expression turned serious. You're not alone anymore. You know, you've got us, your new community. Speaking of community, Eleanor interjected. Would your sister like to visit? Port Haven's beautiful this time of year. Julie's eyes widened with interest. I'd love to meet the woman who got my brother involved in community service. Wayne watched the interaction, analyzing the implications. Julie and Eleanor would either become strong allies or create tactical complications. Their dinner was interrupted by a notification from Wayne's security system. A sleek car approached the community center, one of his old contacts from Black Ops days. Business to handle, he told Eleanor, rising smoothly. She touched his arm, her grip firm. Be careful. Port Haven needs you. Wayne met John Martinez at the empty community center, noting the man's expensive suit and arm driver. You're out of your territory. Got a job offer, Martinez said. High-level extraction, 7 figures. Your skill set would be perfect. Not interested. Come on, Wayne. You can't tell me playing small-town hero satisfies someone with your capabilities. One job, tax-free payment, full tactical support. Wayne's voice carried deadly calm. My answer's no. Don't come here again. Martinez studied him before nodding slowly. You've changed. But remember, our world has a way of pulling people back in. After the car departed, Wayne swept for surveillance devices and updated his security protocols. He'd need to monitor Martinez's movements, ensure no operatives targeted Port Haven. His phone buzzed with a text from Glenda. Support groups getting bigger. My new PI agency referred some clients your way. Wayne had helped Glenda establish her agency focusing on domestic violence cases. Their partnership provided mutual benefits. She gained his tactical expertise. He gained additional intelligence sources. Another message arrived from Eleanor. Thanks for dinner. My story's on the support group website if you want the full version. No pressure. Wayne accessed the site through secure channels, reading Eleanor's account of surviving and escaping her abusive husband. Her tactical analysis impressed him. She'd planned her escape meticulously, established secure resources, built a defensible new life. His secure line activated. Dale Burton checking in. You good? Martinez showed up on my radar heading your way. Handled. How's civilian life? Different. Better. Got a legitimate security consulting gig. Even joined a gambling addiction support group. Wayne approved of Dale's progress. The former hitman had proven rehabilitation was possible without sacrificing operational effectiveness. A knock at his door revealed Eleanor. Thought you might want backup in case your visitor brought friends. Wayne's lip curled slightly. You saw them coming? I see more than most people think. She held up a tablet showing multiple camera feeds. Port Haven's residents protect their own. We've got eyes everywhere. Wayne reassessed her yet again. She'd built her own surveillance network, trained her support group members in security awareness. Impressive. The community centers expanded its programs, Eleanor continued. Self-defense classes, crisis management, practical skills for survivors. We could use someone with your expertise in a leadership role. You're offering me a job? I'm offering you a mission, one that uses all your capabilities to protect and strengthen others. Wayne considered the tactical advantages. Local authority would provide better cover, additional resources, expanded intelligence networks, and something else, purpose beyond mere survival. I'll need full operational control of security protocols, he said finally. Eleanor smiled. Already drawn up the paperwork. I know how you think. Wayne's phone buzzed, a message from the bank confirming his latest donation to the Community Center Scholarship Fund. His hidden accounts still contain millions. Might as well use them productively. They spent the next hour reviewing security upgrades for the center. Eleanor's suggestions demonstrated solid, tactical thinking. Wayne found himself approving her strategic approach to rehabilitation, building strength through practical skills, creating defensible support networks, turning survivors into protectors. His nightmares still came, but their tactical value had evolved. Now they helped him identify potential threats to his community, weak points in need of reinforcement, opportunities to transform combat skills into protection protocols. Wayne Arnold remained a predator, but now he hunted those who threatened the vulnerable, eliminated dangers to his chosen territory, used his lethal abilities to guard something worthwhile. Not weakness. Evolution. Chapter 9. A Life Reclaimed. Wayne studied the blueprints of his new property, a coastal house overlooking Port Haven's cliffs. The location combined tactical advantages with Eleanor's desire for ocean views. 3 escape routes, reinforced walls, state-of-the-art security system disguised as home automation. The previous owners would never recognize it, Eleanor said, watching him analyze the security feeds. You've turned it into a fortress. A comfortable fortress, Wayne corrected, noting the satisfied gleam in her eyes. She'd helped design several of the security features herself. A bark drew their attention. Max, their newly adopted German Shepherd, patrolled the perimeter, another layer of security disguised as a family pet. Wayne had chosen him from the shelter for his military working dog bloodline and protective instincts. Julie called. Eleanor mentioned. She's bringing the kids next weekend to see the new place. Wayne pulled up his sister's travel itinerary on his secured tablet. He'd already arranged protection details and surveillance coverage for their visit. Julie understood his protocols. She'd learned the hard way that safety required vigilance. His phone buzzed with a notification from the community center. His self-defense program had received another award for community service. Wayne had built it into the region's premier training facility, incorporating tactical knowledge from his operative days into practical civilian protection. Mr. Arnold? One of his students approached as he checked the center's security. I got accepted to the police academy. Your training made the difference. Wayne nodded in approval. Many of his students had transformed their lives, turning from victims into protectors. Each success strengthened his intelligence network. Grateful graduates now served in law enforcement, security, and emergency services throughout the region. Your 1-year evaluation as program director. Eleanor handed him a folder. The board's impressed. Enrollment's up 300%, and our success rate with trauma survivors is unprecedented. Wayne scanned the document, noting the statistics. His tactical approach to rehabilitation, combining physical defense skills with strategic thinking and practical survival knowledge, had revolutionized the center's effectiveness. They want to expand the program statewide, Eleanor continued. Other centers are requesting our training protocols, only if we maintain quality control. Wayne's tone brooked no argument. No compromises on security standards. His secure line activated, Glenda checking in. My PI agency's booming thanks to your referrals. Just helped another domestic violence victim escape and rebuild. Thought you'd want to know. Wayne approved. Glenda had built her agency into a powerful force for justice, using their shared tactical expertise to protect the vulnerable. Their partnership had expanded into a network of operatives focused on civilian protection rather than wet work. A text from Dale confirmed his progress, 2 years clean from gambling. Running security for a women's shelter now. You started something good here, Wayne. The afternoon brought another milestone, his first official recognition from Port Haven City Council. Wayne accepted the award with his usual stoic demeanor, but Eleanor caught his subtle pride as the mayor praised his contributions to community safety. You've changed lives, she whispered during the ceremony. Including mine. Wayne's lip curled slightly. Their relationship had deepened naturally, built on mutual respect and shared understanding of survival. Eleanor matched his tactical thinking with her own strategic approach to healing, creating a formidable partnership. Later, walking the beach near their home, Wayne received an unexpected update. Stephanie had completed her prison sentence, moving across the country to start over. She'd sent a letter through his lawyer. "I finally understand what I destroyed. Not just a marriage, but a good man's trust. You were right. True redemption means accepting responsibility. I'll spend my life trying to deserve the mercy you showed by not killing me." Wayne deleted the message without responding. That chapter was closed. His new mission required forward focus. His phone lit up with another notification. Julie sending photos of the kids training with their new martial arts instructor. She learned from Wayne's example, ensuring her family developed practical defense skills alongside normal activities. Found something interesting, Eleanor called from her home office. She pulled up a news article about Marcus Noble's final downfall. His remaining assets had been seized, his prison privileges revoked after a failed attempt to rebuild his network. The empire Wayne destroyed would never rise again. Roberto's organization tried recruiting some of his old contacts, Eleanor continued, showing Wayne her intelligence reports. She developed impressive information-gathering capabilities. They all declined. Your reputation still terrifies the underworld. Good. Wayne's predatory nature hadn't diminished. It had evolved, becoming a defensive weapon that protected his chosen territory. The evening brought an unexpected gesture from Eleanor. She led him to their cliffside deck, where she'd arranged a private dinner. Wayne automatically scanned for threats before focusing on her expression. "A year ago," she said, "a dangerous man arrived in our town. Everyone expected another violent ex-military type causing trouble." Her eyes held his. "Instead, you showed us how to transform combat skills into protection, trauma into strength, survival instincts into community defense." Wayne recognized the tactical shift in her posture. "You're planning something."
Yes.
Eleanor's smile carried the same predatory edge he'd first recognized in her. "I'm proposing an expansion of our partnership, personal as well as professional." She produced a simple titanium ring. "Marry me, Wayne Arnold. Help me build something worth protecting." Wayne analyzed her offer with his usual tactical. Their relationship had proven tactically sound, emotionally stable, and mutually reinforcing. Marriage would consolidate their resources, strengthen their operational effectiveness, and provide legal protections for their shared mission. But beyond the strategic advantages, Wayne acknowledged a deeper truth. Eleanor understood him completely. The predator, the protector, the complex warrior who'd found purpose in defending others. She matched his strength with her own, challenged his tactical thinking, and shared his commitment to their cause. "Yes," he said simply. Their small wedding ceremony reflected their nature, practical, secure, attended by those who'd earned their trust. Julie stood as witness, beaming with approval. Glinda handled security, while Dale monitored the perimeter. Max patrolled vigilantly, accepting guests only from the approved list. Wayne surveyed his assembled allies, survivors turned protectors, operatives who'd found redemption, warriors who'd channeled their skills into defending the vulnerable. His chosen family. To new beginnings, Eleanor raised her glass. "And to the man who taught us that true strength lies in protecting others." Later, standing on their deck watching the ocean, Wayne reflected on his journey. The betrayed husband had become a ruthless avenger, then evolved into something more complex, a guardian whose lethal skills now served a worthy purpose. Eleanor joined him, her tactical awareness matching his as they scanned their domain. "Having regrets?"
No.
Wayne's arm pulled her close, even as his other hand stayed near his weapon. Old habits remained useful, even in moments of peace. "This is worth protecting." They stood together, two predators who'd chosen to defend rather than destroy, their strength undiminished by their evolution. The future held new challenges, new battles, new opportunities to apply their combined capabilities. Wayne Arnold remained exactly what he'd always been: dangerous, lethal, unforgiving to enemies. But now his warrior spirit served a greater mission. His tactical skills protected a worthy cause, and his predatory nature guarded something truly valuable. Not an ending, a tactical repositioning with superior strategic advantages. And anyone threatening his new life would learn that Wayne Arnold's evolution hadn't dulled his lethal edge. It had simply given him better reasons to use it. Epilogue. 10 years later, Wayne Arnold surveyed the expanded Port Haven Community Defense Center from his reinforced office. What began as a small self-defense program had evolved into a nationwide network of tactical training facilities. The security feeds showed dozens of classes in progress, former military teaching protective details, survivors instructing escape techniques, law enforcement sharing threat assessment protocols. His phone buzzed with an intelligence update from Glenda Miller's agency. Her private investigation firm had grown into a sophisticated operation specializing in protecting abuse victims and dismantling criminal enterprises. The report detailed their latest success: another trafficking ring destroyed, its victims rescued and rehabilitated through Wayne's programs. "Your 2 o'clock is here," Eleanor's voice came through his secured line. After 10 years of marriage, they operated. She handled the psychological aspects of their operation while he maintained tactical superiority. The visitor was Marcus Noble's son, Thomas. Now 25, he'd rejected his father's criminal legacy to work with Wayne's organization. The irony wasn't lost on Wayne. The son of his greatest enemy now helped protect others from people like his father. "The Chicago facility is ready," Thomas reported, spreading blueprints across Wayne's desk. "Full security protocols implemented, staff vetted to your standards." Wayne studied the plans with his usual tactical focus. The Chicago Center would be their 15th location, each one a fortress disguised as a community facility. Background checks on all personnel? Triple verified. Dale's security team handled it personally. Dale Burton had transformed from hired killer to head of security for their entire operation. His gambling addiction remained in check, channeled into calculating risk assessments for protective operations. His network of reformed operatives provided another layer of defense for Wayne's expanding territory. A notification popped up on Wayne's tablet: Julie's quarterly security review. His sister had taken his lessons to heart, building her own protective infrastructure. Her children trained in combat arts, studied tactical awareness, and understood the importance of constant vigilance. Uncle Wayne. His niece Jessica's face appeared on the secure video feed. At 18, she showed the same lethal grace that had made Wayne legendary in Black Ops. "I got accepted to the Advanced Instructor Program." Wayne nodded in approval. Jessica would join their next generation of trainers, carrying on the family legacy of protecting others. Her brothers had already joined law enforcement, applying Wayne's tactical doctrine to legitimate peacekeeping. The afternoon brought another progress report. Stephanie, his ex-wife, remained on the other side of the country, working at a women's shelter. Her own experience of facing consequences had driven her to help others avoid similar mistakes. Wayne maintained distant surveillance of her activities, not from lingering attachment, but tactical prudence. Marcus made contact again, Eleanor reported, entering his office. At 65, Marcus Noble remained in maximum security, his empire long destroyed. Same request for a meeting. Same claims of redemption. Wayne deleted the message without response. A predator didn't negotiate with prey who'd proven themselves hostile. Marcus would die in prison, remembered only as a cautionary tale of challenging the wrong opponent. Roberto Higgins surfaced in Mexico, Eleanor continued, pulling up surveillance photos. The last remnant of Marcus's organization had spent years hiding from Wayne's reach. Local authorities found him dead, apparently natural causes. Wayne's expression didn't change. Natural causes could be arranged by those with sufficient tactical expertise. Roberto's death closed the final chapter of that conflict. His secure line activated, Glenda calling from her agency headquarters. "Got something interesting. Remember John Martinez? Your old contact who tried recruiting you back to Wetwork? Dead?" Wayne asked, already knowing the answer. Along with his entire mercenary operation, someone systematically dismantled them after they started targeting domestic violence victims. Very professional work. No evidence, no witnesses. Wayne ended the call, sharing a look with Eleanor. They built something worth protecting. Anyone threatening that faced elimination with extreme prejudice. The support groups are thriving, Eleanor updated him, switching topics smoothly. Her network of survivor services had expanded alongside Wayne's tactical programs. Last year's graduates show an 80% success rate in rebuilding their lives. Wayne processed the statistics while monitoring their security feeds. Each successful rehabilitation strengthened their position. Grateful survivors became dedicated allies, expanding their intelligence network and support infrastructure. A message from Dale interrupted. Possible situation at the Seattle facility. New students showing signs of cartel connection. Want me to handle it? Monitor only, Wayne replied. Their Seattle center had weathered infiltration attempts before. Each failure reinforced their defensive protocols while eliminating potential threats. The evening brought a different kind of update. Max 2, their current German Shepherd, alerted to visitors, Julie's family arriving for their monthly dinner. Wayne verified their identities through multiple systems before welcoming them. The kids wanted to show you their progress, Julie said after security protocols were completed. Her children demonstrated their latest combat techniques in the home's reinforced training room. Wayne noted their improved tactical awareness with approval. Jessica's starting instructor training next month, Julie continued. The boys' police units are adopting your protection protocols. The next generation's carrying on your work. Wayne surveyed his family, sister, niece, nephews, all trained to protect themselves and others. Eleanor joined them, her own tactical capabilities evident in her alert stance and position sightlines. Together, they'd built something unprecedented, a network of warriors dedicated to defending the vulnerable. His phone lit up with another intelligence brief. One of their graduates had prevented a mass shooting, using Wayne's tactical doctrine to neutralize the threat without casualties. The news brought a familiar satisfaction. His lethal skills multiplied through others, serving protective rather than destructive purposes. 10 years, Eleanor mused later that night as they reviewed security footage. When you first came to Port Haven, people thought you'd bring violence. Instead, you taught us to channel combat skills into protection. Wayne's lip curled slightly. Violence is still part of the equation, just more selectively applied. She matched his predatory smile. Their marriage worked because they shared the same tactical mindset, peace through superior defensive capabilities, protection through overwhelming deterrence. A final report came in from Glenda. Another successful extraction. Target safely relocated, abuser neutralized, no collateral damage. Your training protocols made the difference. Wayne archived the intel, noting patterns and adaptations for future operations. Their network grew stronger each year. More facilities, more trained protectors, more lives transformed from victims into guardians. His tablet displayed statistics from the past decade. Thousands of survivors rehabilitated, hundreds of criminal operations dismantled, dozens of communities fortified against predators. The numbers validated his evolution from lone operative to leader of a protective force. Tomorrow's board meeting, Eleanor reminded him. Their organization had grown beyond its original scope, attracting funding from legitimate sources who appreciated their results. They want to discuss expanding into international operations. Wayne considered the tactical implications. Global reach would require additional security protocols, enhanced intelligence networks, more sophisticated defensive infrastructure. Challenges he looked forward to addressing. His phone buzzed one final time. Dale reporting success in training their newest security team. Former Special Forces operators, vetted and rehabilitated through Wayne's programs, now dedicated to protecting others. Wayne Arnold stood at his reinforced windows, surveying his domain. Port Haven had grown into a fortress city, its residents trained in protective tactics, its infrastructure designed for maximum security. His influence spread across the country through similar facilities, each one a bastion of tactical excellence and protective capability. He remained what he'd always been, a predator, a warrior, an operative of lethal efficiency. But now his skills served a greater purpose. His tactical doctrine protected the vulnerable. His lethal capabilities deterred those who would prey on others. Eleanor joined him at the window, her own predatory nature evident in her alert stance. They built something unique, a marriage of equals, a partnership of protectors, a legacy of transformed warriors. Wayne's network of allies continued growing. Dale's security teams, Glenda's investigators, Julie's family, Thomas's facilities, countless graduates applying his tactical doctrine to defensive purposes. Each one expanded his reach, multiplied his effectiveness, strengthened his position. The nightmares had faded years ago, replaced by tactical assessments and strategic planning. Wayne slept soundly now, secure in the knowledge that his lethal abilities served worthy purposes. His past as an operative hadn't been discarded. It had evolved into something more tactically sound. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new threats, new opportunities to apply his capabilities. Wayne Arnold remained ready, his skills sharp, his predatory nature focused on protection rather than destruction. Not a transformation, but an evolution. Not weakness, but tactical repositioning. Not redemption, but reclamation of his lethal abilities for superior strategic purposes. The Predator had found his true territory, and anyone threatening it would learn why Wayne Arnold's reputation still inspired terror in those foolish enough to challenge his domain. His phone lit up with one final message, a quote from a graduate success story. Mr. Arnold taught us that true strength lies not in violence itself, but in the controlled application of lethal capability to protect what matters. Wayne archived the message. The future held endless possibilities for expanding their influence, strengthening their protocols, protecting more lives. Let threats come. Let challenges arise. Let enemies test their fortifications. Wayne Arnold remained exactly what he'd always been: dangerous, lethal, unforgiving to threats. His evolution hadn't dulled his edge. It had given him better reasons to use it. And in Port Haven, surrounded by his network of trained protectors and rehabilitated warriors, Wayne Arnold stood ready to face whatever challenges emerged. The Predator had found his purpose. The operative had secured his territory. The warrior had built something worth defending. The legend continued, evolving but never diminishing, protecting but never weakening, transforming but never compromising the lethal efficiency that made Wayne Arnold a force to be eternally respected and feared. 10 years had passed. His legacy grew stronger with each life transformed, each threat eliminated, each protective protocol enhanced. The future beckoned with tactical possibilities. Wayne Arnold remained ready to face it with his characteristic lethal efficiency. Some men found peace in forgetting their violent past. Wayne had found his in redirecting it to superior strategic purpose. The Predator prowled on, guardian of his chosen domain, protector of his expanded territory, warrior evolved but never diminished. Wayne Arnold's story continued, written in the lives he'd transformed and the enemies he'd eliminated. A legacy of lethal capability applied to worthy purpose. The legend lived on. The mission expanded. The warrior remained vigilant. And in Port Haven, the Predator stood guard, ready as always to eliminate any threat to what he'd built. The end was just another tactical repositioning. The story continued with lethal efficiency. Wayne Arnold remained exactly what he'd always been: a force of nature, controlled but never tamed, evolved but never weakened. His true strength lay not in denying his lethal nature, but in applying it to superior strategic purpose. The legacy endured. The mission continued. The warrior stood ready. And in Port Haven, the legend of Wayne Arnold grew stronger with each life protected, each threat eliminated, each warrior transformed. The Predator had found his territory. The operative had secured his domain. The warrior had built his legacy. The future awaited. Wayne Arnold remained prepared to face it with characteristic lethal efficiency. The story continued, written in lives transformed and enemies eliminated. A testament to the power of lethal capability applied to worthy purpose. The legend lived on. The mission expanded. The warrior remained vigilant. And in Port Haven, the Predator stood guard, ready as always to protect what he'd built. The end was just another beginning. The story continued. Wayne Arnold remained exactly what he'd always been: a force of nature, controlled but never tamed, evolved but never weakened. His true strength lay not in denying his lethal nature, but in applying it to superior strategic purpose. The legacy endured. The mission continued. The warrior stood ready. And in Port Haven, the legend of Wayne Arnold grew stronger with each life protected, each threat eliminated, each warrior transformed. The future beckoned. The Predator remained vigilant. The story continued. This is where our story comes to an end. Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for your time. If you enjoy this story, please subscribe to this channel. Click on the video you see on the screen, and I will see you there.